Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Things are getting out of hand out there. These coaches' salaries, the buyouts, all this crazy stuff, the agents. It's a madhouse. Yep, breaking the bank, LSU in Florida. There is so much money being wasted, thrown around, you almost can't believe it. Now we've got governors getting involved, and Lane's just over there. Oh, I can't really talk about this type of thing, except in just, very neutral ways. I can't get into any details. He gets into details every day about everything. He just called out Brent Venables for stealing signs against Auburn. He loves talking, except about this. Let's get into what's going on with Florida and LSU. Now, as you know, Florida has been stalking Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss to the point Ole Miss is trying to get a restraining order against Florida to keep them at least 500 miles away. I mean, it's really getting out of hand. And Florida doesn't care. They want Lane, and they don't want anybody else. He's their first choice, second, and third choice. And they're throwing money at him like he is the most important person in the world. You can't even believe the money they're offering. I'm going to let you hear from WJOX and Buddy Martin, who's a big-time Florida journalist, award-winning. Here he is talking about what's being offered to Lane Kiffin from Florida, and it's going to blow your mind.
Our audience, what you guys reported yesterday at Gator Bait in regards to a potential offer to Lane Kiffin.
Okay, let me clarify one thing. There's no truth to the rumor that the people down in Florida have agreed to change the name of the town to Lanesville from Gainesville. Okay, so
gotcha. Perfect.
It's catchy though.
Everything else is true, by the way, and it was a story that was really significant to us. Although nothing has been officially done, and people are obviously calling us every name in the book for breaking the story and hurting the chances of getting Lane Kiffin. So the deal they put on the table, we found out from a really well-placed source, 6 years, $13.5 million for Lane. Now, you may have heard other figures, and they're probably true, but let's just don't get it confused with what Jimmy Sexton's asking for. I'm told, I don't have this in black and white, Jimmy wants $15 million and 6 years, whatever it is. But here's the thing. Ole Miss would like to go above that 11 point, go above that and offer more, but they can't. They're limited at the state of Mississippi, to 4 years on contracts. And they can't. They've been losing money at a pretty high clip there. Our sources say around $12 million a year in the fiscal year for the third straight year. So they're pretty much tapped out. So if they're going to keep Lane, if money's a primary motivator, and look, Lane's changed some. If he's a different man, better man, I think. But the situation, if money does dictate it, I think Florida will get their guy. And I think the people in Ole Miss right now are really pissed off at the Florida Gators.
Folks, if Buddy Martin tells you that he's being offered $13.5 million, you probably better believe it. That would make him the highest paid college coach out there, even higher than Kirby Smart, who's won 2 national titles, multiple SEC championships, and Lane's not even made the playoff yet. Now, he's done a great job at Ole Miss. There's no question about that. But they want to make him the highest paid. And, of course, Jimmy Sexton, who is everybody's agent. I mean, this guy, if you want a coach, you've got to go to Jimmy Sexton. And he's the guy that's been pushing these huge buyouts and all of these things. And it's really starting to get to people. And it's gotten so out of hand that, like I said, governors are getting involved. Now, I'll play you that here in a minute. But $15 million a year is what he wants, Jimmy Sexton, and Jimmy gets what Jimmy wants.
Jimmy's been watching you. You're just Jimmy's type.
Ah, really?
So don't be shocked if Florida has to come up with that. This is making things nuts, all right? Florida typically will go find a group of 5 or an assistant coach, and, they did hire Dan Mullen from Mississippi State, but that was back in the day. Typically, they try to grow their own, so to speak. But they've kind of lost their mind since the Billy Napier fiasco, and they've fired so many coaches over the last few years, over the last several years, that they feel like they have to have Lane, and if they don't get him, the world's going to end. Had they fired Billy Napier last year, which they should have done, they would have probably gotten him, and they wouldn't have had to fight with LSU and Penn State for all these coaches. But now LSU has chimed in, and they have money, but I can tell you right now, they're angry at LSU. The buyout for Brian Kelly of $50+ million has made the governor very angry. And now the athletic director has been fired at LSU, and I'm sure that played a role. And here's the governor of LSU, Jeff Landry, talking about this very thing.
To foot the bill. So, yeah, I absolutely. Who's that? Scott Woodward. No. I can tell you right now, Scott Woodward is not selecting the next coach. Hell, I'll let Donald Trump select it before I let him do it. I don't know, but the Board of Supervisors is going to come up with a committee, and they're going to go find us a coach. Hold on. One real quick thing on that. Because here's what y'all reporters need to do. Y'all need to start looking at who represents all these people. Like these agents. You know what's interesting? If I'm not mistaken, Woodward's agent, Kelly's agent, the Texas A&M, they're all the same agent. Like you realize if I would be, I don't know how many sports writers we got here today? Just you. We should have a bunch. Okay? Like this is ridiculous. Lawyers would be disbarred for the way these agents act and the way they're able to represent. In fact, there's no doubt, they may even represent some of the players now. Like it's really time for the NCAA to put on some guardrails in college sports. Because and it's fine. We don't need the guardrails. If big billionaires want to spend all that kind of money, no problem. But if I got to go find $53 million from Kevin, it's not going to be a pleasant conversation. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, the governor's fed up, and I'm sure that played a role in getting their athletic director fired. Because think about, not only is it $50+ million for Brian Kelly, you also got to get rid of all the assistant coaches and all their contracts. And now, like $6 million buyout for the athletic director. We're talking $70, $75 million. And you got to come up with a ton of money to get another coach, and you probably got to buy out his contract, which won't be terrible, but it'll be a few $1 million at a minimum, probably 5 to 10. So now we're talking $80 million plus the money up front. It just, woo! It is getting crazy, and that's why the governor got involved, because he's like, this is too much money for a football coach. Something's got to give. And the fact that he brought up look, it's Jimmy Sexton. There's no question. He is the big dog when it comes to agents, and there's nobody bigger. And here's Lane Kiffin actually talking a little bit about the money.
Hey, these buyouts are ridiculous to pay, and
these buyouts are ridiculous to pay, he says.
But wait for it.
But I'm sure an A&M right now sitting there going, okay, well, yeah, that was ridiculous to pay, but we feel pretty good about that right now. So anytime something works, other people go, well, let's go do that. And so I think that's happened. And once it now has places accepting, to pay these buyouts, which I think is ridiculous, but that it's happening, then it's easier for the next team and the next team, to do it.
Yeah, in other words, well, I don't think it's all that great, but if my buyout is monstrous, I guess we can all live with it, can't we? Lane never misses a trick. All right, so LSU has got to find a new head coach and a new athletic director. Florida's got to find a new head coach. They're offering $13.5 million, probably going to have to go to 15. This puts Ole Miss in an impossible situation. They're having to just pony up more dough, and it's getting harder and harder. LSU is out there. They've already got to pay Brian Kelly over $50 million, and of course they got him from Notre Dame. So they're going around trying to steal every coach they can that they think can bring them a victory or a championship. And, of course, what that's doing is Jimmy Sexton's over there going, I got you now. I got all of you. And I'm going to push up all my other clients' contracts as well. Because, as you know, LSU has expressed interest in Josh Heupel. So now he can run over there and go, Josh, they want you. I'll get you another couple of million a year right now. Woo! And then he'll go over here to Brent Key at Georgia Tech, who he's probably his too. I don't know. God, he's got every one of them. Or if not, it'll be another agent from Brent Key. And, I'm going to get you an extra $2 million at Georgia Tech. And Jeff Brom at Louisville, he'll get an extra couple of million if he doesn't go. So it's really getting out of hand. And it's what it is. It's fan bases that are spoil rotten that must have everybody else's coach because they're winning. I'll tell you what it reminds me of. You ever fished with somebody and you're over there catching fish in a spot and they come over, next thing you know, they're throwing across your line? That's what we got going on. And normally I don't like to get on LSU because I don't really have any problem with the LSU fans, but I will get on Florida. But I guess I have to. But quit throwing over everybody else's line. Catch fish in your own spot. Don't come over here and steal everybody else's fish. Dang. But they can't help it. It's what they're going to do. And they're pushing everybody's up. So I'm just going to say this to the Florida fan base and the LSU fan base. Do not complain about crazy buyouts or crazy salaries because you're doing this. You are 100% doing this. The fan bases that must have what everybody else has got and can't even imagine going and getting out. Alex Golesh, who is a fantastic coach, he was the offensive coordinator at Tennessee, smart as a whip, is killing it down there at USF. Oh, no, we can't have him. We'd only have to pay him $6 million a year. Or John Summerall at Tulane, who's killing it there and also killed it at Troy. Oh, we can't pay him $6 or $7 million. No, we got to pay 15 or 13 and a half. And we got to steal him from pretty much an equitable team. It used to never happen where you had a linear move. You had to always go up. And nobody really bothered with that. But now I got to have what you have. My prime competition, I got to come over and take your coach. And it's making everything financially insane. You want to know why tickets are so high? It's not just NIL. It's this crap. Because LSU's got to get that $53 million plus another $20 million somewhere. Yeah, when you buy your season tickets, LSU fans, don't complain when they triple in cost because you're causing it. Florida, don't complain when it's triple. Don't do it because you're causing this. I tell you, I don't want to see this happen at Tennessee. That's my team. Many of you know that. We have not done that at all, which is shocking to me. We got Josh Heupel from UCF, which was a huge bump up for him. We got Rick Barnes from Texas. Texas had fired him. We got our baseball coach. I think he was an assistant coach somewhere. And guess what we did after he left for the San Francisco Giants? He was the highest paid coach, which he earned. We hired his assistant, Elander. He was the third base coach and recruiting coordinator, and he's a terrific guy. So we're not going around trying to steal everybody else's coaches. And if everybody would do that, just stop stealing everybody else's coaches, these things would come down, or they'd at least stop going up. But we're not doing that. So now it's going to be $15 million a year. And the buyout's going to be $75 to $100 million. Everybody's going to get a Jimbo Fisher buyout. It's nuts. And it's never going to stop until the fan bases relax for a minute. Go get an up-and-coming young coach that can take you to the promised land instead of stealing everybody else. It's got to stop. It really does. That or just do not complain about the money. Don't do it. And Florida and LSU, y'all need to calm down. There are so many good coaches out there that are young, that are doing great things, and you could get them on the cheap, really. I mean, I know $6-7 million isn't cheap, but compared to 15, it's really cheap. And the buyout, it needs to be like 50% of the remainder of the contract, not 90 or 100% of it. So if you buy somebody out $5 or $10 million, which that's enough money to live on the rest of your life. But oh no, we got to give them 50 or 100. And a $100 million buyout's coming. You can just count on it. Jimmy Sexton's going to make sure of it. He's stacking Benjamins over there like cordwood, okay? This guy's making so much money as an agent, and he's got everybody as his client. He is killing it. And is what it is, folks. The governor's onto it. He is. He's onto it. Maybe he can bring some sanity to LSU and say, this is your budget, and if you think you're going over it, you're crazy. I'm the governor, and I control the committee, and this is what you can spend.
It's good to be the king.
That's what needs to happen. Somebody, the adults, need to come into the room and say, this is it. We're over here struggling to keep people fed and do all these things we want to do with our safety net, and y'all are spending $100 million like it's nothing.
Message!
The state of Louisiana is not that wealthy. They're okay, but I mean, they're not Texas. They don't have oil wells over there doing this every 5 seconds. So anyway, I wanted to cover this. Something's got to give, but look, they're going to break the bank again. They just are. And it's a never-ending cycle. If you like this content, be sure to hit that. Well, you may not like this content because it's upsetting, but it is. Look, you know I'm going to bring you the truth. That's what I do. If you like this content, and you should, if you like the truth, hit this button right here. Help you get the subscribe button. And speaking of the subscribe button, this happened. I've been getting several of these, and I think this is what's going on. It says, I've been subscribed to you for a long time. All of a sudden, I noticed I was unsubscribed. YouTube does this at times for some reason. I have no idea why they would do it. It says, maybe good idea to remind your followers and your subscribers that, hey, are you still subscribed? So if you are subscribed, be sure to check and make sure it's still checked off as that. because it sounds like they're unsubscribing folks. And maybe it's because maybe they don't watch YouTube for a while, or they stop watching your particular channel for a while. I honestly don't know. But I'm seeing a lot of comments like that. So check and see that you're subscribed if you want to continue to be. A piece of cake, just hit it again. Anyway, right over here's the most recent video. YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.
Oh, Randy, you're breaking my balls here. You're breaking my balls, Randy.